Hi beauties, do you know the saying, he does not deserve your tears? Maybe somebody told these words to you, maybe you said it to someone. And you know, when I heard it myself, I felt like, yeah, it's true. Nobody deserves my tears, nobody. And this man, he does not deserve my tears. And I just stopped crying. And the thing is that when we cry, when we feel pain, when we feel sadness, it's not about someone, it's about us. We are feeling it right now, and we have full right to feel it. And I would say more, we need to give ourselves this right, the right to feel what we feel and to be honest about it. Because, you know, at psychology courses that I'm attending, our teacher always says that when we understand our emotion, we can speak it out honestly, tell ourselves about it. It has less influence on us. It gets 50% less, the intensity of this emotion. And that's why we can see that it's pretty rational and practical to cry when we feel like crying. And you know, the heartbreaks, they are different. We can have a crush at school, and for 2 weeks we were looking at him and thinking like, oh my God, I want to date with this boy, with this guy. But at the end we see him with another girl and we are crying because, you know, at the school time we really feel things really intense because our hormones, they are just blooming. And you know, this can be feeling more intense that it looks from outside. You know, somebody from adults looking at this and saying like, you don't even know him, you don't have anything in common with him, why are you crying? He does not deserve your tears. But the point is, it's our feelings, we feel it. Or can be different situation, like with, for example, science writer Florence Williams. She wrote a book about heartbreaks. It's pretty interesting research. And she said that her husband left her after 30 years of marriage, and she felt painful and she couldn't even sleep. She felt such a pain that she couldn't sleep, she couldn't do anything. She was just feeling hugely intense pain inside her. That's why she made a research, and she says about this research in her book, Heartbreaks, a personal and scientific journey. So if it sounds interesting, you can check it out. And you know, when we feel heartbreak, we need to go through this. We need to go through this emotional breakdown at some point. And as Florence Williams says, she said that after a certain time, when her emotions they got more balanced, more calm, she understood that being alone now is her opportunity to get to know herself, to understand herself. And I think this is a great result of her research, because the next step, when we went through the hardest emotional breakdown, of course, better to go to a good qualified psychologist to go through this. If we don't need it, if we can do it on our own, it's also fine. But the next step is always discovering yourself, discovering what's inside me, and trying to understand what I like, what I don't like. What are my hobbies? What are my interests? Especially if you were in marriage for 30 years, and probably many people do it, they forget about themselves because they always like together, two. But then when another person gone, we have the crisis. It's called, in psychology, it's called the crisis of monada. Monada is when we are alone and we're trying to understand ourselves. Usually we have this crisis when we are teenagers, but also we can have this crisis when our husband, for example, died, or he left us. So when we're staying alone, the idea is it's about being alone and feeling this loneliness. And this loneliness, it's an opportunity to understand ourselves. So, and when we do it, we are trying to find these interests that inspire us. We're trying to see what we can do right here and right now to make ourselves happier, to give some positive emotions to ourselves. And when we do it, these new positive emotions, they are healing us, and heartbreaks, they go like behind, and it's more and more being our past than current moment. And the worst thing people do is to trying to find a new love right after you broke up with someone. And at these feelings of heartbreak, you don't really understand yourself so much, and it's hard to understand, does this new person fits our needs, fits our ideals, for example, or principles. And also this another person can feel like, you know, like some remedy, but will not feel like personality in these relationships. So be careful in building new relationships right after heartbreaks, because it can be damaging for both of you. And if we talk about finding a new love, here I made a video about how can we find an ideal partner. It's very, very simple. It's so simple that not many people think that it's important. But in my life, I understood that's probably one of the main things to understand in relationships. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope your heart will be healed, or maybe healed already. And see you soon. Bye-bye.